The way to a man's heart. My husband sacrificed our love to his manly pursuits in the misty green mud countryside. His dawn trampings in the hills left me lonely in bed. I thought early risers were early bedders. I was wrong. His evenings, and sometimes half his nights, were spent casting his fishing line in the rush of the becks. He wanted a fish, a slimy, cold-blooded creature. They say one love drives out another. Our early passion for each other was born of the greedy physical attraction of opposites, me the cream-skinned blonde, and him my swarthy mate. Our marriage was celebrated with the shared delights of eating and loving. His tongue tasted of paprika, but felt slivery silver against my skin. He brought the sweet smell of fertility to our bed, where he told me I tasted of caviar. We loved as we ate, with hands, mouths, and noses. I blame myself. The night before our wedding, my mother's advice to me was, remember the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Foolishly, I believed her. Over the years, I wasted my talents on stews cooked with brown meat and soft red and orange vegetables. I diverted my energies into piles of fresh, clean laundry. But I was not in my element. I was a fish out of water. My husband did try. Last summer, understanding that I was landlocked in domesticity, he booked a holiday by the sea. It meant taking our three, aged 10, 8, and 5, out of school, but as I saw it, their future security was at stake. A happy mother is a happy home, my proverb. However, while I was enchanted by the cottage with a thatched roof and niche windows, seduced by the beer garden with baskets of lobelia and sweet pea hanging from iron fists, I was deceived by promises of togetherness. In the early mornings, when I was amorous, our bed was empty as my husband walked the coastline. I was left to wander our children between banks of pink roses, delicate enough to be sugared and eaten, along bridle paths margined by lace cow parsley and overhung with mock orange. During breezy afternoons on the beach, I paddled in the froth of the waves, while the children explored rocky pools. When their feet were stiff with cold, I rubbed them with towels, cleaning seaweed and sand from between their toes. And where was my man? Dribbling his fingertips in rivers, wading through the depths, dipping his line into the soft water, waiting for a fish to rise to him, to put its lips round his bait and swallow. I waited for him to return to me, to seduce me with ruby wine, to make my body curve to his. In return, I would offer him precious foods, pâté de foie gras, gravlax, chocolate as dark as sin. When he appeared, having failed to catch a fish for supper, he was so emptied by his exertions that he threw himself onto our bed and slept with his eyes open. I closed them for him. He was no longer mine. I was wretched for my man with his devil fingers and their unruly invasions. There was something else. I needed more than narrow lanes, banks of wild flowers and deserted shores. I was a woman who flowered in the sun, who loved best in the exotic. We had honeymooned in Tuscany, when instead of visiting churches, we lay in bed until 5 in the afternoon, making love and a baby. Evenings were spent dining and nights wandering in the cool air. I cherished memories of fields drenched in opiates and a sea anemone floating its petals over the deep. My ears remembered the crested hoopoe calling across the lemon trees. My tongue still tasted the caramelized rind of barbecue porchetta. I imagined revisiting that heaven. Before I told my family of my vision, I treated them to freshly killed lamb, roasted in virgin olive oil, with just a sprinkling of early thyme. Making the mint sauce, I sliced my thumb, tinting the vinegar a darker shade. When we had devoured our feast, I said, I have a vision for a last-minute break. I described lazy swims in the pool, long meals in trattorias, and being made drunk with Chianti. That's all very well, said my husband, but what am I and the children to do? There'll be pasta, said the eldest child, and pizza, said the second, and ice cream, said the youngest, and fishing, I suppose, conceded my husband.